The following is a production of the Dallas Genealogical Society. For more information, please visit our website at dallasgenealogy.org.
Okay, so just let you all, we are recording, so you'll be happy that you'll be able to see a replay of Patti's presentation. We don't always record the DNA SIG because sometimes we get into topics and we don't have permission to share information that we accidentally share online. So we don't always record.
And I've gotten permission from my family to share what I'm sharing tonight. So we're good to go.
Good. So I'm going to post the handout again. Maybe wait till Lisa gets on.
And I can also redo it while we're doing our announcements. I'd be happy to
Okay.
in there again, like in the next 10 minutes or so as people are coming in.
Okay. Okay, I've posted, and Jean got in right after that. And probably, or Jean wrote some number on there. I don't know what that's about.
That's my SIG number for Gentech. I know she's
Oh,
going
is
to
that
ask
your
for it.
Jed? Is
Yeah,
that
and
your
my Gedmatch number. I
good?
know she's going to ask for it later on, so I just got ahead of her.
You're right. And anybody
she
else
does-
who has a
When she does
Gedmatch,
the live update after a while.
sure will.
Yeah, I've seen this one before.
Oh, really?
But
Okay.
I'll
Thanks
look
for
at
coming
it again.
Oh, wonderful.
Okay, I'm posting that one more time because Jean may have knocked it off. So I posted the handout.
It's out there twice.
It's up there like 2 or 3 times. And I'm going to go ahead and start the meeting. We are recording. Patti will repost it. If you don't see it there, chat is kind of funny. You have to already be on to be able to see, to download anything that's posted. So if you don't see it there, she will be posting as we go along. And this means I need to share my screen and find our program.
Be after this.
Oh, okay, good. You included something about Debbie. Okay, good.
Welcome to the June 20th, 2000. Oh, June, gosh, the January 20th, 2022 DNA Special Interest Group. Our agenda for this evening is we will, as we usually do, look at news and views, things that have been going on. I have a screen honoring Debbie Parker Wayne, and I thought if individuals wanted to, they could make comments or tell one thing about where and when Debbie impacted their lives. Jean will introduce our speaker, and then after Patti speaks, we will have further group discussions. So some of you may have heard or may not have heard that Debbie Parker Wayne passed away January the 19th, 2022. I cannot pronounce the name of this disease. Jean, you want to tell what you discovered about it?
It's an awful disease. It's a degenerative brain disease. And there are a lot of course, since your brain is so controlling, that as the disease progresses, it really affects, almost all parts of the body. Part of it is dementia. And it usually, one thing about it, at least according to the article I read, it only lasts for about, you're dead, say, within about a year after contracting it. So maybe she didn't have to suffer long.
So it's not a genetic disease. It's
It
They're
could
not
be.
really sure. From what I looked it up in the Mayo Clinic, and they don't know yet, really. There may
Well-
be some tendency, but for some genetic tendencies, but they don't. It's a lot of diseases now that they just don't know yet.
Well, Debbie was certainly very special to those of us in Texas. She is the first person from whom I took a DNA class. She presented at the, I think it was either NGS or FGS meeting when it was in San Antonio a number of years ago. And that was the first time I had ever, learned anything about DNA and what it could do. She has spoken several times in Dallas. She was the 2015 DNA seminar for the society, has spoken all over it. And one of her major projects was to identify Texans who were here before statehood, or actually before the Texas Revolution, and then before statehood, or 1900, I guess, so that you could see if there was any DNA matches between individuals who had lived in Texas. Would anybody else like to say anything?
Yeah, I took she and Cece Moore and Blaine Bettinger taught a course at GRIP. It was the first, institute DNA course that was ever taught, and I was able to take that. I was really excited about it, and they all did an excellent job. So, I mean, she and Cece and Blaine were kind of the leaders, the matriarch and patriarch of DNA research and genealogy.
And I can share too that the Waco, it's the Central Texas Genealogical Society in Waco hosts the annual lock-in program. And my very first program that I went to here in Waco was with Debbie Parker Wayne. And so that was the first time I'd ever heard of her or ever heard her speak. And I was already very interested in DNA. I'd been doing DNA kits for my family for several years. So when I went and got to meet her in person, her maiden name was Parker and my great grandmother's maiden name was Parker. So we had a chat about that, but she definitely influenced me in pursuing DNA stronger. And so really, really sad to hear the news. Yeah.
Okay, why is it not going on? There we go. All right, Mick.
I don't know. Did we do that one last week last time or not? I don't remember.
No, this is new.
Okay, this is new. Anyway, it's you might have put that one on there or something.
I did.
Okay, because that's why it didn't look familiar to me. Anyway, Virginia Beach police used forged documents with fake DNA evidence to get confessions.
And we'll send you that. So if you want to read that article, you can. It was very interesting. And this has been going on apparently for quite some time. They tried to make the people they were trying to arrest think that they had DNA against them when in fact they didn't.
Mm.
So, and I've seen a number of things here on the recently ancestry groups and my heritage labels are that's a new thing with both Ancestry as well as my heritage. They're having little colored, like the leads color tabs there that you can place on your, you place out signifying different parts of your family with different colors. And
So these three articles are available for you to look at online. That one that says People after it, it's like a People, not People magazine, but it's like People magazine online. I was looking through the internet and found 3 interesting new YouTube videos by Larry Jones.
The one on the DNA test in the New York Times, you may have to, that may be behind the paywall. Sometimes it is and sometimes it isn't, but
I think I printed it out.
okay.
Gene, isn't it a story where they tell all about CC Moore?
Yeah, it's essentially this reporter. I mean, one thing, reporters don't pick their own headlines. This one is a little more sensational than the actual article. And that people commented on that in the comment section. But it was essentially a reporter kind of followed Cece around. It sounded like for several days, just finding out what she does and how she goes about doing it. And it was, to me, it was really an interesting learning experience, learn some of Cece's techniques.
Mm.
Let's see, I thought I stuck that in there. There we go.
This is about Genome Link. I started getting a few things here in my email in the last couple of weeks, probably on Genome Link. So I kind of made a study of it. I didn't really upload to it, but I kind of want to see what is this thing? Anyway, what it is, it looks to me like it's more of a health type report. They do have an ancestry type report, but what they're trying to do, if you have tested with Ancestry 23andMe or MyHeritage, you can upload for free your DNA to this website, Genome Link, and they'll give you a free report with 25 traits, and you can compare your traits with one other person for free. I guess and then I had a little hard time trying to find out how much this is going to cost. And, it's kind of hidden down there. And anyway, apparently there's a free report with 25 traits. And then there's the Genome Link Unlimited, and it seems to be $14 a month for 100 or 100 plus traits. And you can compare your traits with 5 other people. You get weekly email, and they have a blog called Newest Discovery Traits and so forth like that. But I wasn't really impressed with it. It's more of and there's no matching. It's not a DNA. It's not a DNA genealogical genetic testing company. It's more trying to sell you information based on your DNA. And there was health stuff. There was I think the 3 things about ancestry was your ancient DNA. There was 3 of them. There was one was about Vikings, and another one about I don't know. But anyway, I wasn't impressed with it. I kind of thought in the very beginning, hey, I might just do it, particularly because it was free. But I kind of I don't know. I don't really see where it's. I'm not into that. These different companies that are doing the health traits like 23andMe and so forth. Like I've done 23andMe, and they're pretty good, but it's not anything that they're not going to tell you you've got heart problems or cancer or anything like that. They'll say, they'll give you some big thing saying maybe you ought to go see your doctor. But they don't want to do anything. They're not going to say anything. But anyway, I wasn't impressed with it. But I'd urge other people, if you are interested in something like that, at least look into them. But apparently, you can sign up, and if you want to do the 100+ traits for $14 a month, it does say there's no contract. You can get out at any time. But then when I got into the fine print, they said that basically just because you told them that you didn't want to do it anymore, that your DNA was really still there. But it's what do you call it? Anatomized, where nobody.
Anonymized.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. And basically it's in a test group, and they're using it without your name and stuff like that, with some of their partners like 23andMe does. And that's essentially it. But you can quit paying the $14 a month and get out of it.
What I didn't see on it was anything that led me right to privacy issues, nor did I see anything that said they wouldn't share my results with law enforcement. I mean, there was just nothing there about that. So you couldn't tell what they were planning to do.
Yeah. So I wasn't impressed with it, but you might want to look into it. It might be something that you would be interested in, but it's all these traits. I think they're just, I don't think they were anything new. That was the whole thing. Nothing surprising, nothing that you could live without.
So we can look into it individually, and next month, if anyone discovers anything interesting about it, and maybe discuss it a little more then.
Yeah, and it's genomelink.com was the website.
So Roots Tech Connect is coming up. The theme this year is Choose Connections. They've had a couple of blogs that have come out, and one of them was behind the scenes with Roots Tech team. And so you go on and see a little video on what they do to put Roots Tech together. I thought that was sort of interesting. And one of the connections is connections through food. I can see how that relates to family. You might have family that connect through food. We in our family have different foods that we traditionally have had. My brother-in-law is from Cleveland, and his background is his mother is Louisiana Cajun, and his father is Cleveland German. And I keep trying to get him to talk about the kind of foods he ate growing up, because it's so different than what my sister and I did. So that will be an interesting thing. You can sign up and with Roots Tech, and when you do, you'll begin to get these blog posts about the events and the programs. Okay.
One thing I wanted to bring up, I'm confused, and if anybody knows anything better, I did a talk on the 1950 Census Search, how to set it up and everything by going to what's the guy's name at
Steve Morse.
Steve Morse. yeah, go to Steve Morris's website and so forth like that. And what we did, in the last 2 or 3 census releases from 1920, 30, and 40. And in those times, the National Archives released the census, and it was all not indexed. Well, the National Archives puts out a newsletter, and about a week, maybe 2 weeks ago, they put out a newsletter, and they started talking about they are using OCR to do indexing, and it's totally confused me because everybody has said it's going to come out no index. And I'm wondering if maybe they're doing OCR with the addresses or something, because that has to be done. So I don't know if they're doing it with the actual names, or if they're just doing the EDs and street names and stuff like that. So I'm looking for more information, because I'm going to talk about that in, I don't know, February or March, I believe, at one of the genealogical societies, and I need to clear that up. And so I can give somebody, what I can learn about being the latest information about that. So I may end up, back in December or so, we contacted, what's his name at Family Search?
David Rensher.
Yeah, Rensher. Yeah,
Mhm.
we contacted Rensher, and of course he's real busy, and I didn't. It was somebody else that asked him the question about what was going on, and he said, "Well, in March, Family Search would make an announcement," and then it was about 2 weeks after that that I heard that I got that thing from the National Archives. So what's going on? I don't know, but I'm in the process of trying. I guess I'm going to end up having to write Rensher and myself and see if he can spill the beans and clarify what's going on. Patti is smiling. So do you know anything, Patti? Or
I don't know anymore. I just do know that they're keeping it kind of close, but it sounds like it's already finished. That the actual census is ready, and they're going to launch it the April 1st. But I don't know what is going to all be online, but it sounds like it's already complete.
that's kind of what that blog for the National Archives kind of
alluded to. And
Yes.
that's what when Jim Thornhill, after the three of us had talked, Jim did get a hold of David Rensher, and that was what Jim felt like he was saying too, is that it's already done, because we were hoping to help do some indexing, but he's like, we don't need help, it's already complete. So
Well, that's cool, because it took another 3, 4, 5, 6 months after the last couple of them have been released, and they had to be publicly sourced, and with all kinds of volunteer help. So that'll be kind of neat. Go April 1st and look it up.
I know.
I've already been looking my addresses up, and I know all the places where my people were living. I know where I live. I have a picture of the apartment building where I live, with the window where I don't know if it's the window where I slept or not, but anyway,
That's great.
it's where my parents paid rent, and so
that is really cool.
I'm disappointed. I liked doing the indexing, but
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, if it's OCR, we may be needing to go in and make a lot of changes
I know.
there's a lot of
I agree.
Absolutely. Well, you know what's interesting? I've been down here in Waco for the last 2 weeks. I've been helping my cousin with my grandmother, who's 94. She's on oxygen now, but she's doing great. And she has taught me how to do indexing on Family Search. She has done over 140,000
Oh,
into Family Search.
thank her.
Isn't that fantastic? And I told her, I said, look, Grandma, I said, I've got 96 now. I'm catching up with you. Take me all my life to the rest
That's great.
Yeah, I know. I was just so proud of her. Were we ready to get going?
Oh, Jean, please.
Yeah.
She's going to introduce her.
Okay. Patti Smith, Huff Smith, is our Director of Education at the Dallas Genealogical Society. And she is a member of the along with being a member of DGS, she's a member of the Association of Professional Genealogists, National Genealogical Society, Texas State Genealogical Society, and the counties in Texas where she has deep roots. She manages 60 DNA kits for her immediate and extended family, which is amazing. Using DNA, she has solved some of her own family's mysteries. She's also located bio families for clients using their combined DNA research, DNA matching tools at Ancestor and Gedmatch. She's pursued her passion for genealogy and family research since 2013. And then after she discovered DNA, she's attended conferences, lectures, classes, and workshops to develop her skills in genetic genealogy. She's completed the Boston University Genealogical Studies program, their certificate in genealogical research, and also the Your DNA Guide, Family Week, the Academy DNA Skills Workshop by Diane Southard. I'm running out of breath here. She's worked full-time as a marketing coordinator in Dallas, and she worked 9 years as a motivational speaker and author Zig Ziglar as a sales representative, seminar facilitator, and speaker. She and her husband, Gary Smith, led marriage conferences and held leadership positions in their church for 21 years. She's been married for 36 years and has 4 children. So welcome, Patti.
Oh, thank you so much. And I'll tell you, I had some really big shoes to fill when I stepped into the Director of Education role, because that was something that Jean Larson did. So I am super grateful for the legacy that she's left for me, and she left it in great shape. So very grateful for her and for this DNA special interest group. And I am just thrilled to be here. Thank you so much for asking me. There are new things that are happening in Gedmatch.com. And anytime I have any questions, I go straight to the source. Roger Curtis is the gentleman that, along with another friend, created the Gedmatch.com program over 10 years ago. So as soon as I got my DNA results in, my cousin said, well, the next step is for you to do Gedmatch. And I said, just tell me how. It was like, just let me know what I need to do, and I'm willing to do it. So I have, as Jean mentioned, I have 60 family members that have been willing to do the DNA testing. And I have one, so they're all on Ancestry.com and they're all on Gedmatch.com. Then my mother did the mitochondrial DNA testing on family tree DNA. And also I have a third cousin on my Huff family line that did his Y DNA. So anyway, I'm super excited, as you know, about this topic of DNA and also about Gedmatch. So I'm going to just go through an overview of what we will talk about. Some of the things I'm going to speed through because some of you, or hopefully most of you, I wonder if we could, just by a show of hands, is there anybody who does not use Gedmatch.com? Because if you're already on there, I can kind of speed through some of the slides here. But the first thing I want to talk about is all the new things that they have here at gedmatch.com. And also I want to say we'll do a Q&A afterwards, but we're going to do a live demonstration on how it works. And I'm going to use Jean Burrows and Jean Larson's DNA kits to do some just a few activities so I can show you live how this works and how beneficial it is. So the first thing that I want to share with you is Gedmatch is now posting notifications through our email. So whatever email account you have opened your Gedmatch account and whatever email account you used, Gedmatch is sending all of the updates, but they're also sending notifications. So now this, because I'm managing 60 kits, I'm getting a lot of email from Gedmatch.com because I'm getting lots and lots of new, but it's okay because it's beneficial, especially if I'm searching a particular family member. And by the way, I do have clients that I have loaded Gedmatch. So that's really good. Even though I'm finished with their project, if they get new matches on Gedmatch, I'm going to get notified, and then I can go check in there and see if it's more information that I'm going to be able to share with my clients. So it's okay, but yeah, I am getting a lot of emails from them. They will also email you new e-newsletters. So we get the most current activity that's happening in Gedmatch, and that's really cool. They have a new tab. When you go to your profile, you're going to see a little tab that says Gedmatch Education, and they've got some great videos. If you don't know how to do something on Gedmatch, they have a video for it. I promise. Every little tool that Gedmatch offers has a video that will teach you how to do it. So super easy. They make it really, really easy. So several years ago, the Tier 1 came out. Now there's some new features in this Tier 1, but in case you don't already know, Tier 1 is a portion of Gedmatch that does cost a little nominal $10 fee. And it's very, very beneficial. I'm going to show you live and at closer to the end of the program, I'm going to show you live how valuable the Tier 1 portion is to you and to me. So underneath that Tier 1 is the new things that you can find are combining multiple kits into one super kit. Then clustering, I'm going to show you how clustering works. It's a single kit input. So you would put your kit number in there to be able to cluster all of your DNA matches into it's a little kind of like a little matrix thing, but it's that cluster, it clusters all the DNA matches that go together for your particular ancestor that you're matching with. So that is fabulous. I love that tool. You can also, this is new too, find a common ancestor. You're going to find your MRCA, your most recent common ancestor from all your DNA matches. That requires that you put a GEDCOM file into gedmatch.com. I'm going to show you live how that works. Super easy, nothing to feel like this is too overwhelming. Just one step at a time. It's super, super easy. And so you can find surname matches from your common DNA matches. So really, really great. And then anytime that Gedmatch is updating or making new terms of services, that sort of thing, they're going to send you an email about it. Now I want to stop right here for just a second because I want to get this out of the way. When we go to new websites and we decide, even if it's a free it's something free, Gedmatch is free except for the Tier 1. And I'm going to show you the things you can do for free. And then I'll show you the things that you're going to be able to do if you're a tier 1 member. So either way you decide to do it, it's beneficial. You're going to learn a lot from Gedmatch. But it's up to us, each one of us individually, to read all of the terms and services and privacy policies. Whether you're just getting involved in DNA, or whether you're just opening a Gedmatch account, or you're opening an Ancestry account, or you decide you want to do your DNA, or any of these sites that you're using, DNApainter.com, any of the programs, it is your responsibility as the user to read through the terms and conditions that are laid out there. That way we're making a very informed decision. Now, when my cousin told me I needed to get on Gedmatch, I just followed her lead because she knew more than I did. So I was totally willing to do it. But so I just wanted to kind of get that out of the way, because that is really important that we know what we're signing up for. So tonight we're going to talk about how to download your raw DNA results and to begin using Gedmatch.com. Now, all of the stuff that I'm talking about tonight, I think I have everything in your handout. It's 7 pages. So it has step-by-step easy instructions on how to download your raw DNA data from the testing sites. What are the benefits of using Gedmatch.com? I'm going to talk about the tools that are available on the site, tier 1, what all that involves, opting in policy for law enforcement. You have the option, can my DNA be used in a law enforcement case? So my DNA, it's out there for anybody to use. If any of my relatives did something that they're going to get caught if they use it, if they've got DNA samples. So it's totally up to you whether you do these. And then Gedmatch was acquired by Vergon in 2019. That's actually old news now. So change is inevitable. We all know that. They just recently, I don't know if you saw it, but on Ancestry, they just recently changed. They changed the font. They changed the format. And I'm like, why? You just get used to it. And then they go and change. So we have to get used to that. And I know it's hard, but it seems like the programs are always wanting to update. They've got the newest, the latest, the greatest. And honestly, in many ways, it really is. It is good. It's that what they're doing is trying to help us, the user, benefit from their program. So we've just got to kind of roll with it and screenshot everything. You want to take screenshots of your Gedmatch the matches, because somebody might get irritated. Oh no, they updated it again, and they decide to just take you can delete your GEDCOM file and your Gedmatch kit number. So if that's the case and you go back and you can't find what you originally thought was there, it's really important to do your screenshots. And there's all sorts of updates and the policies and all that. And you can read all of that on Gedmatch. So what are the prerequisites for you to be able to use the Gedmatch.com? You have an A test, because that's what this is all about. You download your raw DNA data from whatever testing site you've done. Then you upload that raw DNA data to Gedmatch.com. Now, here's one of the hugest benefits from doing your DNA on Gedmatch. It is like the big ocean of getting all these testing sites together and putting it all into one location so that we can benefit from our DNA matches in other testing sites. So I tested on Ancestry. But in Gedmatch, I have matches that are from family tree DNA, from 23andMe, other custom kits, health DNA sites, forensic DNA, deceased DNA, living DNA, MyHeritage DNA. So all of those people whose data is in Gedmatch, I now am not, I don't have to take a 23andMe test to go find 23andMe testers. Now, the one little thing we have to be aware of is not everybody knows about Gedmatch.com. So when I go to my Ancestry DNA page, whether it's for me, for any of my family members, or for a client, I always ask the DNA matches, are you on Gedmatch.com? And if they are not, I send them simple instructions on how to download from the testing site and upload to Gedmatch.com. So really encourage your DNA matches to go ahead and take that next step and put their DNA out there on Gedmatch.com. This is the new, when they did the upgrades and all of the improvements, this is what it looks like now. So the whole face, it got a facelift and all of that. Currently, when I sign in, I still use the old screen. I just happen to really like that. I'm comfortable with it. And the old classic is what they call it, is still going to be available for about the next 9 months. So don't feel like you have to make the change right away, going to the new format. It's okay if you want to. It's okay to stay with the former instead of the new. Either way, it's fine. It's still all the great stuff. So you have a registration, you join for free, you can use your real name, and then you can post initials, or you can post a fake name or a nickname out there. So the email account that I use is joybell7@comcast.net. That's my old email address. I still have it and I still use it on Gedmatch and on Ancestry. You have to have a working email. You can't fake it or you won't be able to use it. So you have to have a valid email address, and you create a password. Then you're gonna, if you don't have an account, it says not registered, click here. They make it super easy. So you've got your registration page, your first and your last name. Now you can use that optional alias that I talked about. You do have to have a valid email address. Then you're going to be brought to this next screen where you're going to, whoa, that's out of sequence. So hold on, let me go back. Okay. So you want to put the name of the donor. If it's you, you put your name in there, and you can do an alias name. Male or female. Do you have a haplogroup? If you have a haplogroup, put it in there, because that just gives more evidence and more credibility to others that are searching and may be connected with you. Then, seeing that you have the same haplogroup is pretty exciting. So remember, the mitochondrial group you can put in, the Y haplogroup, and you want to put your testing company in there. So then you're going to have to check off, is it your DNA? Is it a person that you're the legal guardian? Or is this a person who has granted you specific authorization to use to upload their DNA to Gedmatch? So once you get your raw DNA data from your testing site, you're going to upload it. You're going to opt into the privacy section. You're going to choose the file, which, by the way, when you download it from your testing site, which I have instructions in your handout, you're going to choose your file, which will be your DNA in a zip file, and then you're going to upload it to Gedmatch.com. Usually takes about 24 hours for everything to populate, because it's matching and it's looking and populating all of your DNA matches. And you will immediately get a kit number, but you need to wait to use it for the one-to-one matching. And we'll talk about that in a minute when I'll show you a live demonstration. So this is what mine looks like. I've got, this is my name, my email address. These are some of the listing of my family members that I am managing. Everyone is opted into the police, so no, hopefully we have no skeletons in the closet that way. So you have your DNA, which you can click on. You can see it's a hyperlink. You can actually click on that link, or you can copy the number, and then you're going to go over here. These are the free tools that Gedmatch offers for you, the DNA application. And so you've got one to many. What that means is one kit, which would be my kit number or your kit number. And then it's going to give you all the DNA matches that Gedmatch has found in their database. So we will go through a couple of examples of how to use this. This is my favorite application to start with, is the one-to-many DNA comparison results. So I'm going to click that link. It's going to take me over here, and I'm going to enter a kit number. It could be my kit number or somebody else's kit number. And then I'm going to display the results. Now, these are my DNA matches. And what I would like to show you here is on the left-hand column is everybody's kit number. This is my mother. I've got her ancestry and her family tree. You do not need to have both of them. I have them, and I'm probably not going to change it, but you do not have to do that. You just need one kit number on here. And then you have an email address. Now, the benefit of this, when we keep going through here, is somebody who has taken this extra step to get onto Gedmatch is probably interested in communicating with others and probably more willing to respond to an email if you send an email. So that's always really cool. Then you have the next column is the largest segment that you share with that person. In this case, this is my mother. So it's my kit, and those are my DNA matches. So the total amount of centimorgans that I'm sharing with my mother's 3588. It shows you that we're one generation. That's a parent and a child. And it can be father-child, mother-child is 1.0 generations. Overlapping, we're not going to talk about that tonight because we've got so much other stuff to talk about. And like I said, there is a video on Gedmatch that talks about overlapping. This is the date that the DNA data was downloaded into Gedmatch, and then it should have the testing company. And I've tried and tried to get it on there, but for some reason it won't go on. So there are some tips about figuring out, especially if you have your family tree on Ancestry and you have a tester from Ancestry that you find on Gedmatch. What I do is I create an Excel spreadsheet, and I put the kit number on the Excel spreadsheet that I'm wanting to research. And then I'll put how I believe they're connected to either my maternal, my mom's side, or my paternal, my dad's side. So one of the little tips is the A is Ancestry. The T is family tree DNA. And let's go down here. Let's see here. We've got an LX. Well, LX is because they ran out of the single letters. Now they're doing double letters. So you don't always know by the kit number, but then you can look over here. You can see that migration and the very last letter, A for Ancestry. And then sometimes 23andMe and others, will have migrated over. So this is what it's going to look like. You're one to many. So it's only my kit number, and it's all my DNA matches from my mother's side and my dad's side. More matches. When you see one of the kit numbers highlighted in green, it's a new match, and it's going to fade over the next month. So I look at Gedmatch every day. Of course, now that I'm getting the emails, I don't have to do it like that. I can just wait for my email to come. But I like to know if I've got a new match, I'm going to go look at it, and I'm going to determine do I want to chase this lead down? Is this a kit number or a person that I want to try to figure out how are they related to me? Are they my mom's or my dad's side? So I'll just take a look. It depends on what I'm searching, what I'm doing. I may decide I want to chase it down. I may decide, I'll come back to this at another time. I'll save the kit number and then I have a get to it later type thing. So this is the new person. So I'm going to try to determine who is this person. I don't know them. And look, they've got, they don't have their full name on here. So the little asterisk is showing us that this is it's not their real name. It's I don't want to say a fake name, but it's it's not their given name. So I have a kit number. I have a kind of fake name. So I don't know whether, is this the first name? Is it a nickname? I don't know, but I have an email address so I can reach out to them. It's showing me that I have shared DNA. The centimorgans that I share with this person is 52.1. That's very important that we know how much DNA that we're sharing. So centimorgans are a measuring tool like a ruler or a yardstick or a cup of flour. It's a way to measure DNA is the centimorgans. And so what I see here is this person is on Ancestry. Now, if they had their real name on there, I wouldn't even bother emailing them yet. I would go to Ancestry and try to find their real name on my Ancestry matches because I know they're matching me on Gedmatch. So they tested on Ancestry, so they've got to be there. So that's how I determine who I'm going to be looking for. Now I go over to, I copy this Levi, I copy their kit number. And I'm going to be observing, I'm going to be looking at all these matches and seeing what they have in common. So what I see here is this person is managing 6 kits here. So that gives me a little clue. Okay, this person probably knows a little bit more about DNA than the average person, maybe not, but this may be a really good person for me to reach out to. So these are just things that I'm going to be keeping in mind as I'm going through my DNA matches. Now, if I want to find somebody, if I'm looking for my Huff family members, I can do my control key on the computer, control and the letter F, and that's for find. So then it brings up the little box there on the right-hand corner, and I can type in a surname. I can type in Huff. I can type in Jean Larson and see if Jean's a DNA match to me. I can type in my email address and see if, what's popping up. Of course, in this case, I don't need to because they're already there. But if you can search in any kind of way, any kind of surname, first name, and get to it quicker than having to scroll through 1,000 or 2,000 matches. You can just control F and try to find it. I love that little feature there. So we're looking at my kit number. And I'm going to give you one of my cousins, Franklin Abel. He is my father's first cousin. So he's my first cousin once removed. Now, the reason that I want to use this one is because our family is working on book number 2 for the Abel family. So I'm going to go to the one-to-one autosomal DNA comparison. And the reason why I want to use Bud's DNA, well, his name is Franklin, but he goes by Bud. So the reason why I want to use his kit is because he is 1 generation above me. So he's going to be matching additional Abel family members. And I want to reach out to anybody from the Abel family. Do you want to be included in this new book that we're doing? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the one-to-one on Franklin Abel and see all of his people. Then I'm going to take somebody that I don't know and I'm going to put both of the people into this particular, it's using 2 kit numbers to see who in the Gedmatch or the Gedmatch website are matching each other. And that's what I'm going to do the live demonstration between Jean Larson and Jean Burris in just a minute. But this is my kit number, and this is should be, yes, Franklin Abel's. Okay. So the 1-to-1 autosomal comparison between myself and my first cousin once removed is I've put it into this 1-to-1 comparison to find out how much DNA do I share with my dad's first cousin, my first cousin once removed. And so what we see here is on chromosome 1, we've got the chromosome all the way across the page, and we're looking for the blue match. See how it says up here, significant, very significant match here. So that's what I'm going to be looking for. No match is black. So I'm going to be going through here, through his. So we match on chromosome number 1, chromosome number 3, chromosome 4, 5, 8, 10, 11, 13, and 17. So that's a significant amount of DNA, and we know that that's a pretty close match. So that this is telling us where we're matching, and if I'm comparing somebody else's DNA that I think may be an Abel, but I'm not sure, I can compare Franklin's DNA with that other Abel person's DNA because Franklin is a generation above me. He's got more of the Abel DNA than I do, than was passed down to me through my father. So then I'm going to go to this people who match both or one of 2 kits. And I'm going to put Franklin's kit number is there in the top. And I chose a second kit number to show you. Then I'm going to submit it. And this, actually, this is both of ours. Okay. So this is my kit and this is Franklin's kit. So these are people in the Gedmatch database that are matching both me and they're matching Franklin. So all of these people are somehow connected through the Abel family. Now, is this on the paternal side of my Abel family, or is this on the maternal side? That's what I want to figure out. So this is the process that I use to try to figure out how is this person matching. So the first thing that we're going to do, we're going to make sure is this, whose kits are we looking at? So we don't get freaked out if something doesn't show up that should be showing up. So then we see the kit numbers, we see the person. Now the first column is going to be the first kit that you put in. So all the way down the columns are people who are matching me and Franklin. Then the next column, these are all his matches that are matching me as well. But we're not matching on the exact same generation level. So what we're going to see is, this is my sister Karen. She and I are matching on a generation of 1.2. This is a full sibling match between my sister and I. But when we slide over here, and this now is Franklin's kit number, Franklin is matching my sister at the 2.4 generation, a difference of 1.2 generations. Now, if I did not know who Franklin was, this has given me a great clue. What I'm going to do is I am going to take the amount, let's say I don't know who he is. I'm going to take this amount of shared DNA that I have that my sister has with him, or that I have with him, because it's about the same. I'm going to take it to DNA Painter, and I am going to put into the beta process in DNA Painter 498.6 centimorgans, and DNA Painter is going to give me a prediction of where we fall and what generation I fall into. And it falls right in place where I know it is. And that's first cousin once removed. So, or if we don't know who it is, could this be a half uncle? Could Franklin be a half uncle? And that's the thing we have to look for as we're analyzing this DNA. The computer can calculate a prediction. It's not going to calculate, was this a second marriage and they're only sharing grandfathers? So in our case, Franklin and I share the same ancestral couple. His grandparents are my great-grandparents. So these are the kind of things that I think about when I'm going through and analyzing this and trying to use it to the best benefit possible for my research. Then what I did was, because we're looking for all of the Abels, these two, Franklin and Lorraine, are in the same generation. So you see, when I added Lorraine into the mix, we now have a new DNA match that pops up to the top. So I know who she is, luckily. And she is 2.3 generations from me. She's 2.6 generations, actually from Franklin and Lorraine. They're just they share a little bit different amount of DNA. So, but if I didn't know who she was, then I'm going to take the amount of shared DNA to try to determine who is our most recent common ancestor. That's the first thing I'm going to do. Most recent common ancestor. And the second thing I'm going to do, what generation does she fall in? Because that is going to help me determine where to put her in my family tree if I didn't know who she was. So again, we're looking for shared DNA. We're going to look at what Gedmatch is predicting, the generation that we're each one of us are sharing. And this just gives us a great opportunity with our email addresses to reach out to them and see if they're willing to help us find additional information. And maybe they've got photos that we don't have, or we have photos they don't have. So again, we're going to be looking for additional DNA matches using new kit numbers. So we just keep the process going. Also using this is my mom's DNA. I'm going to go down to her DNA matches. I'm going to go down to through lines, using it in conjunction with my Gedmatches that have an ancestry kit indication that that they've tested on Ancestry. So then we have tier 1. This is the new and exciting things. One of the best things I learned when I went to the Roots Tech Live back in, I think it was probably 2016 when I went, was this phasing. And I'm going to tell you why this is so, so important. We have an opportunity using Gedmatch to find the parent that might be missing, or we don't have their DNA. So let me explain this. I did my DNA and I uploaded to Gedmatch. My mother did her DNA and I uploaded it to Gedmatch. But my father passed away in 2014. I wanted to do his DNA and he was like, what do you need that for? And I'm like, Dad, we're just trying to get back more generations and find matches and finding people who share DNA with you. And but we didn't get it before he passed away. So Gedmatch has this tool. Select a child's kit, which would be me. And if you have the father or the mother's kit, which I had my mom's, so all you need is one child and one parent, and Gedmatch is going to extract all of the DNA matches of the parent that you do not have. And they're going to create a new kit number for you for all of your maternal matches. So now, if you think of it like the funnel, all your DNA matches here, Now we've just split it in half using this phasing. Now I have a Gedmatch number for all my mom's matches, and I have a Gedmatch number for all of my dad's matches. So depending on which side of the family I'm going to be researching is going to depend on which kit number I use to do my analysis. So this is a great, great tool if you have a parent or if you have a child that wants to know more about the other parent that may not be living. This is also very, very helpful for adoptees. And some people were raised by one parent or the other, and it's a great way to try to find the missing parent. So this is what the Tier 1 paternal kit number is going to look like. So this is my PA was for phasing. That is my DNA kit number is 836536, and P1, these are all of my paternal matches. So now all I have to do is go to that kit number, and there's everybody matching on my dad's side, which is so cool. So again, we can start selecting kit numbers that we want to evaluate. And so there's the little select, you can check mark any of the ones. In this case, I'm trying to find everybody who has able in common. So if it's on my dad's side, the Huff side, I'm not going to click those. I'm looking for anybody I think may be related to the able side of the family, because that's my focus. That's my goal. So I'm going to click the little, check the little boxes, and then it's going to give me this visualization. I'm going to click matrix in this instant, but you can see you've got lots and lots of options up there. But in this case, I'm going to click the matrix. I'm going to go to the matrix generation comparison. And this is what I'm going to find out. I'm going to get this visual. Now, this visual helps me in figuring out, I didn't know, let's see, I knew myself, my brother, my first cousin once removed, but I didn't know who this person was. I know it's a lady now, but I didn't know who that was. I knew she was a cousin. And I know I have a Nolan in the family. That's a second great grandmother. So that was a good clue, but I didn't know who these other people were. So now I can look at this and figure out, okay, who's my most recent common ancestor that I have between these people? And it's just another step, another way that I can do analysis. So we've also got multiple kit analysis. This is another thing that we can do. So you can just start picking kit numbers or adding kit numbers in there. And again, do this visualization. And this is now on my mom's side. And I can start looking up and trying to figure out and trying to manage which person this goes to, paternal or maternal. On Tier 1, you can do triangulation. This is really cool, because you put your kit number in to the triangulation segment. In this case, I use my mom as the example. And then it's showing us here chromosome number 1 and all the people who are matching my mother just on chromosome number 1 and where we match the person. So this kit is, let's see. So this is my mom's kit we're working on. Kit number 1 and kit number 2. It's giving us a little comparison. This is my mother's half brother. This is my mother's first cousin. And it is showing where both of them are matching my mom. So this is what triangulation will help. Now, if I don't know who these people are, in this case, look at that long section of DNA. Now I know I can scroll down and find exactly where these people are matching. So my mother and these other 2 kits are matching on that segment of DNA. If I don't know who they are, this is very, very beneficial. And it goes through all of your your chromosomes. So before we get to questions, and which we will do questions, I want to pull up my my Gedmatch file and do some live demonstrations here. But why don't we, while I'm pulling that up, if you have any questions, and this would be a good time to ask, I guess. I'll stop. Oh, let's see, out of there. Okay. And we will go over here to my things. Oh, right here, I put in the chat box. Facebook has got loads of genealogy sites that you can go to. So this is a Gedmatch. I put that in the chat. And I'm not looking at the chat right now. So if there's any questions in the chat, Barbara, if you want to read those off, or if anybody's got a question, this would be a good time to ask the question.
I'm not seeing any questions in the chat.
Okay, well, we can go.
Patti,
Uh-huh.
you showed the thing on the kit that was developed for your father. Now, will
Yes.
that kit develop? I mean, like, supposedly I was related to your father. Would he show up in my matches?
It's possible. Let's do that comparison and see.
Well, I know.
Yeah, we did it once.
Not related.
Yeah, so let's go. We're going to go to that paternal kit again and let that populate. Okay. So that one to many. Oh, there we go. It was the button was covered up. Okay, so let's give that a second to populate. Now, while this is populating, you see here where we have a GEDCOM. Some people do and some people don't. And this can be loaded into your GEDCOM file, comes from your family tree, such as on ancestry.com. If your family tree is there, you can download it into a GEDCOM file. It has to be under 10,000 people that you have in your tree to be able to be uploaded to Gedmatch. If it's over 10,000, it overloads the system and it won't load up. So, so putting your GEDCOM file onto gedmatch.com will help do some of these analysis that I'm getting ready to show you. So you do need to have your GEDCOM tree onto gedmatch.com. Is that just crazy? They're all sound so similar. Okay, so now what we're going to do, I have Jean's, her Gedmatch kit number. So I'm going to do my Control F to find, and I'm going to put her kit number in here, which is M. Okay, for some reason that's not coming up, but let's do this. We'll have your kit number and we'll just do this live demonstration here. We'll take my dad's matches and we're going to back up one time. And we will do the, this is the free site, the DNA applications, people who match both or one of two kits. So I'll put those are my dad's matches, and then we'll put M028927. We're going to put that in there. And we will just take a look. Okay, so somewhere
I'll be darned.
I know. Somewhere in the lineage, Jean and my dad, and probably Jean and I, are sharing an ancestral couple, or it could be one, one or the other, the grandfather and the grandmother. We're sharing an ancestral couple. So what I would do is go through the list and see, do I recognize any of these names? Because I've done quite a bit of work on my own tree. So do I recognize any of these names? And if I don't, I would probably start with the very first person that's
Yeah.
this, because they're the closest. And the closer the DNA match, the easier or the better it goes.
T is family tree DNA, right?
That's right.
Okay.
So then what I would do in this case, I would email this person, Charles. I would email him and I would say, Charles, notice we're a DNA match, and your kit number, and I always add their kit number and my kit number that I'm going to talk to them about. And I'll say, do you happen to have a public tree that you would be willing to share? And this person may say, oh yeah, I got a tree on Ancestry, or I can download my tree from Family Tree Maker or whatever. And most of the time they're willing to collaborate with you when they've gone these extra steps of getting on Gedmatch. So that's one of the things that we can do to see.
Okay. So it doesn't just match. I mean, your father is basically just another kit now, right?
Right.
It's been up.
So I don't have, it's not his DNA strands, or it's his DNA.
Yeah.
So it's extracted those. Now, the neat thing is people do ask the question, should all of my siblings test? So what I did was I did the phasing on my two brothers and my sister. And it's really interesting because of the distribution of the DNA. We don't always get the same amount of DNA, or maybe not even a strand of DNA from one particular, let's say our fourth times great grandparent. I might not have gotten that strand, so I'm not matching some of the same people. But when I do my other siblings' kids, I'm like, dang, they've got some additional matches that I don't have. And these are still people that are related. So I can still reach out to them in hopes that they may have additional information on the family member that I'm searching for.
One thing too is you can use Lazarus. Like if both of your parents are deceased and you have siblings, you can use the Lazarus to combine your kits and come up with a kit for your parent.
Absolutely. And this is what she's talking about right here is the in tier 1, we have the Lazarus tool that we can use, and that does resurrect the unknown people in the I don't know, maybe you can explain it a little better to me. I haven't used it, but I know it.
I don't have any siblings, so it doesn't help me.
Gotcha. So what I'd like to do, I've gone ahead and gotten it up here. This is Jean's kit number, and Jean Burris, and this is Jean Larson's kit number. So I did the one or two, just like I did a minute ago. And so these are people in the Gedmatch system that are matching both Jean Larson and Jean Burris. So these are people I would just start looking down and trying to determine how close of a match are they. And, you know, once they get into the 5 generations back, that's like kind of start thinking, maybe I don't want to chase that one down. So
Yeah,
it's doable, but it's harder. The further we get away, the further generations back, the harder it is. So I'm going to go ahead and show you, this is my kit number. This is called the Auto Cluster. This is a wonderful tool. You do have to have your family tree on Gedmatch to be able to use this tool. So this is another benefit of using Gedmatch.com, but it's another reason why you would want to have your family tree. You download it into a GEDCOM file from Ancestry.com or Family Tree DNA. And what you're going to do is you're going to put your kit number in here. How many kits do you want to examine? Let's examine 250 kits. The lowest threshold is 15 centimorgans and the highest threshold is 2,000. So now I'm going to ask Gedmatch to make me a cluster and watch how this just starts populating. It's pretty cool.
So Patty, do you have to have the Gedmatch from one of those two sites that you said, or can you do your, I'm not Gedmatch, Gedcom, or can you just pull a Gedcom off of your own separate genealogy?
I think you can. I think you can pull it off of, like, if you have Family Tree Maker or Legacy Tree. Mick, do you know the answer to that question? I don't want to be saying anything that's not true.
Yeah, I just use
I think you can.
my legacy tree when I.
Oh, perfect. Okay. So what I've just done is I have put my kit number in here, and I am going to display a cluster. These are all of my DNA matches. They're not all of them, up to from 15 centimorgans to 2000 centimorgans. So it's all populating right now. Everything is ting, 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 ting.
So back when I was doing this, I actually have 3 different kits for me. So I would only be able to run this against one kit, I guess.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You can use any one of them. They're all very, very similar. Like my mother's has 2 kits out there, and they're both very, very, very similar. There's not much of a difference. Okay, so now it looks like it's through populating. So the cluster here that I have, the darker the blue, the closer the DNA match. So this cluster right here, I'm going to look at these DNA kits. I do know all of these people, and they are all related to my great-grandmother, Ethel Wolf. See the Wolf name here? But I know I'm managing a lot of these kits. So I know that these are all Wolf's family members. Now I'm going to scroll up. Our next little cluster, I don't know who this is. Green Firefly, Jerry Cox, Forrest Wiggins. Now I know he's on my Huff side of the family, but my, so I don't know about this Jerry Cox. I'll have to, and I don't know who this GAN person is. So since I know that this is a Huff person, if I'm going to be searching for my Huff family, I'm going to be looking at this cluster right here. Now the purple cluster, as I look, these are my Crook family. So that my mother's maiden name was Crook. So these are Crook members, but I don't know who Jappy is. So this would be a person I'm very interested in talking to this person because they share 45.3 centimorgans with me. I don't know who that is. And I know they're connected to my Crook family, and I'm searching for Crook right now. So this is a good hot lead for me. That's how I kind of break things up. So then this particular, now look at this big cluster. Ooh, who are these people? These are more Huffs. Okay, these are third cousins. So I'm going to look through here. I'm managing Debbie's, I'm managing Joe's DNA. So I know who they are. And I know this Roy Huff. So it's just another tool in our genealogical toolbox to help understand and help find new DNA matches.
And this is a tier 1.
That's a tier 1. This is also a tier 1. And I went ahead and populated this while we were talking up front because it takes a little while to populate. This one is called, this is in tier 1, and it is finding your most recent common ancestor. So this is my kit number. And I'm looking for anybody in this database that's sharing DNA with me. And so I have my mother, my sister. This is my half uncle, my first cousin once removed, first cousin once removed. Now let's go to her. I think I know. Yes. Okay. So I'm going to go to her. I don't know. I kind of had a feeling I knew who she was, but she and I are sharing DNA with this particular person, Wade Nolan. So I'm going to go over here. It looks like it's 5 generations away. I'm going to find the path that it takes to get us up here to Wade Nolan in this generation above us. So let's look at the path. This is me. And this is Jean, Betty Jean. So we are fourth cousins sharing 71 centimorgans.
That's pretty cool.
Is this cool? So it shows my path. That's me, my dad's mother, her mother, and her father. So this would be my dad, grandmother, great-grandmother, great-great, great-great-great, my third great grandfather. And this lady here, she's born in 1941. This is a lady, if I'm searching for Nolans, I'm going to talk to her because we see she's got her tree, I've got my tree. We know, and we're sharing DNA. So we know we're sharing DNA, and this is most likely exactly how we're sharing that. Isn't that cool? I just love this. Then we can go back, and now let's look at this. That was the path it took. Now let's compare. So this shows my GEDCOM file and her GEDCOM file. So when you put your GEDCOM tree onto Gedmatch, it's going to give you a GEDCOM number. So now we're going to compare it. And now this is mine. We're going to click the compare for the common ancestors. Come on. All right, it's not wanting to. Let me take a minute. I didn't have that pulled out. This part pulled out. Oh, here we go. Okay, so we're going to go down here. I'm going to get this out of now. Okay. So this is showing us my GEDCOM file and Betty Jean's GEDCOM file. So here's another one of our DNA matches. It shows what I have in my tree and what, so this is what I have in my tree. This is what she has in her tree. Now check this out. I don't have that in my tree. So now I can open up my Ancestry account and I can figure out who is this and whoever and this Thomas. So I have Thomas in my tree. She's got Thomas in her tree. So now I can start adding and building my tree with people I know I'm a DNA match to. So this is, it's just so cool. And then this is the Brian, because Brian Ward Nolan married Elizabeth Betsy Townsend. These two are married. So I already know that, but it just helps kind of put it all together here. So it's just fantastic. All the little fun things we can learn on here. Let's see if I brought anything else up here. Oh,
Now, what was that one? Was that a tier 1 thing?
that's a tier 1.
MRCA. Okay.
MRCA. So let's go back. I'll show you how I found that. We're gonna go back to the very beginning. Okay, so here's my home page, and I'm going to scroll down here to tier 1, and I'm going to go to find the most common ancestor. I'm going to click that. I'm going to put my kit number in, and Jean, you said yours is on there.
Yeah, my tree's on there.
Oh, okay, good. Let's look yours up then. And this is the good thing about, as a genealogist, if we've got clients that we're working on, if we have tier 1 and we put their GEDCOM file, now we can do all of the research for our clients too, which is really awesome. So we're going to submit Jean's kit, and it does take a little while to populate. So she's already got somebody that's come up.
Donna and I've corresponded before.
Okay, but let's see. You've got more that's coming up. And
okay.
Yeah, this is cool. So, see these little things right here? It's populating. There's usually about 3 or 4 lines of that it keeps populating there. Yeah. pull it up. Okay, so you have some Smiths in your
Yeah.
tree.
Smith and Jones.
Wow. Okay. So look, it's already looked 864 kits on
Oh my word. Yeah.
isn't that
Probably
amazing?
a lot of those are my Scandinavian, and they think that anybody with the last name of Nilsson, he must be related.
Gotcha.
And that
Okay.
that's what I ran into the last time I did it. So I really haven't, but some of
There's
them
your Jones. You have a good one. Godwin. Okay. All right. So that's still populating there. Right.
Oh, those are just the number of kits to compare, the ones that I match that have trees
That
on
have
them.
their tree, their GEDCOM tree on there.
Okay.
Okay. So you've got a lot more matches, but
Okay.
there are people that have their GEDCOM file on here, or their tree, their family tree.
Okay.
So do you see one you'd like to look at, this Princess Hill?
Yeah, I know. Donna and
You
I
know
have
them.
corresponded,
So
yeah.
is there somebody else here you might want to look at? It looks like it's still populating, so there could be a couple more come on.
Why don't we do this Chris Ann Van? No, wait a
Yes,
minute.
okay.
Let's do the Elizabeth Smith. Because what I've run into in the past, they're different Elizabeth Smiths.
Oh, okay. So do you want to do the first one or this other one?
Any of them is fine.
Okay. Oh, and you have another one that just popped in. Okay. All right, let's look at this first one just to see. So we're going to look at the path that it takes.
Okay.
Okay, so you guys are in the same generation right there.
Yeah, see, they're different Smiths.
Okay, so the
These are
path.
different birth and death dates.
Okay.
Just too common a name.
Yeah. But you are sharing DNA with that person.
Yeah. So I just have to
Way. It may just not be that way. So let's go back and let's look at another Elizabeth Smith. Let's look at this next one. So that's it. Yeah, the DNA match. Oh, let's go. Hold on. Let's get back over here. We're going to go to the path. Okay. All right. So
yeah, she's in the United Kingdom. No,
not the right one. Okay. Yeah. So see how our traditional genealogy, we can never throw that out the window because we love DNA. We still have to do our traditional. Make sure that we're okay. So let's look at this next Elizabeth. Oh, shoot. We don't want to go to the path.
Yeah, so they only found 6.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, yeah.
Well, now the birth is only 2 years.
Yeah, but they married different men.
Well, okay, well, now wait. That's not her. That is her child. Alpha.
Oh, okay.
See. That's her child.
Well, but she would be a Pierce, and she would have to have had a married an Ansley to have James Nicholas.
Okay. Rats. Well, just keep telling people about Gedmatch and to load up their GEDCOM file too. Let's look at your
Jeremiah Jones.
Yeah, let's look at that one. Oh, darn. I need to click the path, not the person.
He's the one that got married 5 times and had 25 kids.
Oh my goodness.
Lord of mercy. Woo. Woo. Okay, so this
I can get new information for DNA matches on this one.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for true.
So there you go. That's cool. All right. Any other questions, or does anybody that has a kit number want me to do Any comparison here? I don't have all the answers, but I might be able to help. Any,
Well, if I can look mine up, I do have a kit number. Let me see if I can find it.
okay, good. Okay. Yeah, if you just pull up gedmatch.com.
Right. I'm getting in. I just have to, oh gosh, this is very strange. How do I get to the old,
You can just go to,
sign in, old sign in?
yeah, the classic. Go to the classic. I'll just open another browser.
Where is the classic? I just.
So go to gedmatch.com, and then where it says join for free, just go to the sign in tab right there.
Right.
Okay.
Oh,
And
I
then
see, sign into classic.
I usually sign into classic.
Because I was hoping it would pull it up without my having to go in. Okay, so
And then log in.
I've logged in.
Okay, good. And
I've
so your
got-
DNA kit number should be over here on the left somewhere.
Okay, I have an M and I have a T and I have a GS. Which one do you want?
I just go with the first one, the M.
Okay, M802809.
Okay, good. All right, there we go. Okay, so it's showing your other two kits, which is fine. I would, it's, and then your KS, is that a sibling
KS.
child?
That's my brother's son.
Great. Oh, cool. He's sharing a lot of DNA with you. That is amazing. And okay, so the first thing, what would you like to do? I should ask you that first.
Oh, I don't know.
Let's see if you and I are cousins. Joy.
Well, there's your match with Elizabeth Shown Mills.
Yeah, that's the one that's been so interesting to me.
How
on
cool
every
is that?
on every one of my things where she's tested, I've tested, and she's got all her sons who've tested, and and I sort of know where we are, but we don't know how we are. She hasn't researched her family. That at least when I talked to her, she had researched her family. That's the name that I think connects.
If Jean Larson, no, darn it.
We did at one time have a really
Okay, is there somebody
very distant match.
in your top 12 or 20 that you don't know who they are?
Let's see. I have to look at their emails. Look at how many Elizabeth Shown Mills has.
Oh, shoot. What did I just do? Oh, I'm so sorry. There we go. I was just gonna blow up the screen here. There we go. Okay.
Why don't you just do Elizabeth Shown Mills and we see what it comes
Is that
back.
her right here?
Yeah,
I think
Okay.
that's her.
yeah.
Okay.
See,
and
all
her-
these others, Libby Shown and DG Mills, that's a son or something.
Okay, so hey, that would be a great one to research. Woohoo.
Hmm.
Okay, so we're going to get your kit number. And we're going to back up, go back to the home page and say people who match one or both kits. So we're going to put you in the first kit position. We'll put her T764568 in the next position. And we'll display results here. Oh, well, this is cool. So let's go down here. So here's your kit and her kit. So right there's your kit. So you're going to go down the column on your kit, and this is her kit number.
Right.
So you guys are showing at 3.8 generations from each other. You've got your GEDCOM. It does not, I don't know, maybe if she's got her, that's what we need to do, Barbara, is we need to go over to your, to see who your most recent common ancestors are. And if she's got her tree up, then she should come up.
Yeah,
But-
I haven't seen her tree anywhere.
Bummer. So then what I would do is I would look and try to compare here to the next person. Okay, whoever this K,
Okay, that's my nephew.
that's your nephew. So he's 4.5 generation. So we're getting further away from the most recent common ancestor.
And those other shows there are her
Or
children.
family. Okay. Now, how about this Marilyn Cates? Do you have any idea?
I've seen that I matched her, but I don't remember where. Let me
Well, the
see.
neat thing is, you know that you and Elizabeth are matching her. So,
I think this is on my father's side. Let me see if I have her in my tree. Okay, so what is her first name?
Marilyn Cates. And I don't know why she's got an asterisk there.
I've got some Kates, but they would not be
In the same,
well, I have Kates that are the family line that I'm pretty sure we match, Elizabeth and I match on are my Williams, my great grandparents married they're either first or second cousin. My great grandmother is Jerusa Francis Williamson.
oh, wow.
And so
Wow.
they either first, they all lived in this little part of South Carolina. And so she didn't have any Williamsons in her line, but she has Jeffcoats. And so my ancestress's sister married a Jeffcoat. So you go back another generation beyond the Jeffcoats and you get into some other family. So I don't know whether this Kate's is part of that. I don't have that Kate's in my tree, but I have some Kate's in my tree.
I'm bringing up a little chart that one of my cousins put together, and it has been so helpful in figuring this out. Let me blow this up a little bit. And I can put this chart, if you're interested, I could put it in okay. So this was a chart that she made we want to try to put people in the right generation as we're going through our DNA matches. This is something that Diane Southard in her 5-week course that I took this last year, she really drove home the point that it doesn't matter if they're a first cousin 5 times removed. We just need to know if it's a first cousin, a second cousin, or a third cousin. And the removed part we can work with, but we've got to try to find which level of a cousin are they and what level are we on? Are we pure first cousins, or are we first cousin once removed that they're younger than us? Or are they first cousins once removed because they're older than us? Like the example I used with Franklin, he's a first cousin with my father, and I'm once removed from him, but and he's higher. So then what she put together here was who we're going to be sharing. The first cousin is going to have the grandparents in common. Second are going to have the great grandparents in common, and so on and so forth. But what this helps us with, it helps us when we don't know who the person is. If we don't know who our match is, and then we're going to have to use our judgment on and our knowledge on the amount of centimorgans that we share. But again, we're not going to know, especially when we get to working with a 40 centimorgan or 30 centimorgan match. We're going to have to keep in mind as we're doing that research, is that 30 centimorgans person, are we sharing an ancestral couple, which would be easier to find, or are we only sharing one ancestral couple? And one of the ancestral couple. And in some ways, it's really easier if there was a second marriage, maybe the first wife passed away, or maybe there was an affair. If we're only sharing one particular great, great, great grandparent, then we know we're only looking on that side of the family. And that makes it a little bit easier. We've just now, what Diane Southard calls us, we've just split the network. So now we can take the able people out, and I'm only going to be looking for my Huff side of the family, which was the side I'm looking for, or vice versa. So it's just, this was a really good visual for me. It helped me with my, kind of keeping everything in order.
Well, let's see, let me share my screen if you can.
Yeah, I'll stop sharing, and
I'll just show you this only just on this particular thing. This is something I drew as to how I relate to Elizabeth Shown Mills. Here I am.
Oh, cool. Okay, can you blow it up just a little bit?
Yeah. I'll have to move it around, but here I am down here. Okay.
All right.
And my father, his parents, his great grandparents. Anyway, up here to these Williamsons that married each other.
Okay.
Okay. And then this is her family. This is his family. This is what I think. These are brothers. Okay.
Okay.
Well, here's Elizabeth Shown Mills over here. Here she is. She's a Jeffcoat. Her mother was a Jeffcoat.
Wow.
And they were South Carolina. And so this is her family. She did an article in NGQ. She was looking for she was looking for the maternal line.
I think I saw that
but she, last time I talked to her, it's been a while, she had not done any research on her Jeffcoats, but there are Jeffcoats over here that, I haven't done enough Jeffcoats necessarily to do that, to know which of these Jeffcoats fit to this, fix in with the Hoovers and the Humphs.
Right.
Let me see. This person right here actually was in Elizabeth's article, this Cheney. She has a maternal connection to her or something. I don't know. But it's all very complicated.
That is so cool. And let me ask you this, Barbara, as I'm looking at the chart, is this Lucid Charts that you did this in?
This is, I can't remember what it was. Oh, no, it was DRAWIO.
Okay. Okay, great.
This is a free. Here's what it is. It's a free deal. It's kind of clunky.
App.diagrams.
Right.
.net.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Oh, that's cool.
Now the other one you were talking about, I haven't
Lucid
used
Chart,
it, but you have to pay for it.
I know, and you can use Lucid Chart. You can do, I think, 3 or 4 free ones, which I did, but I ended up doing one on my on one of my computers, that either on the Word document or something. I'm going to go.
I got annoyed with Word trying to do it. That's why this was really helpful. This worked out great.
Put it in the chat if anybody wants that. Yeah, that looks really nice. You did a great job on that. And what I've done with my clients is I've made a chart like that, and add the Gedmatch number into each person so I start with the people they're matching with down here, and then I build up to the most recent common ancestor is how I have approached that. There's a question in the chat that I want to answer too. But Barbara, did we look enough at your?
Yes. And we also had a question from Stephen. He wanted to know.
Yes.
Did you see that?
Yes, I did. So the question was, I saw in that big colorful diagram about testing deceased relatives. Can my mother's hair be tested? I have her hair from her first haircut around 1927 to 1928. And would that work, and who tests it? That is a really, really great question. At Roots Tech, I think it was last year, maybe it was even the year before, Living DNA they are beginning to do testing like this. I do believe you need a hair follicle, when you've got to have the hair follicle. But here's the next thing I wanted to share with you. So I'm not sure about just the end of the hair, Stephen. I'm not sure about that, because I don't know if you don't have the hair follicle, if the DNA is going to be in the hair itself. But if you have an envelope from from your mother that she licked, which we all licked them way back in the day, or a stamp that she licked. Living DNA is in the process, and they're in the stages. They haven't rolled it out to the public yet, but they have been able to extract DNA from envelopes. And I have an envelope from my 4th grade grandmother, which is super cool. So anyway, that's in the works right now. If you want to unmute, and if you want to discuss this, we can. And Mick, if you have any additional information, or anybody else has additional information to share about that, please feel free to jump in.
Do we know what the price is going to be for that?
I don't know. I don't know right now, but at least we do know that it is possible. So those of us who have grandparents or relatives that have saved letters, don't throw anything away. I know it's, but I am really excited about that, because I've got envelopes, and I have my dad's envelopes from when he was in Vietnam. He sent over 100 letters home, and I've got his DNA on envelopes. So
Yeah, my mother had the habit of using not licking her stamps. That's the only problem.
but she probably licked her envelopes, and maybe, I don't know.
I think she did.
Yeah.
I
So
think she did.
So
it is definitely worth trying.
how did she get her stamp on there if she didn't lick it?
Well, she always told me, don't lick the stamp because it's bitter. And then she would have this like little thing that she would use to wet
Like
it.
probably a sponge.
Yeah, so I know not to use a stamp.
They used to have these things where it had a little pool of water in there and had a little.
Yeah, that's
had a
what she
little-
And then a
used.
sponge.
Mm.
That's
Yeah.
what she used. She had that on her little desk, and she wouldn't lick it. Yeah,
Funny.
I mean, she's been dead now for 30 years. So
Wow. But
Yeah.
that'd be cool. I mean, there's so much out there. I did ask, when I went through the Boston University course, we did a unit on forensic genealogy and forensic DNA testing. It was excellent. And one of the ladies that was teaching that particular course actually works for a forensic police group. So I posed the question to her, could we exhume my brother's body to try to get DNA, or could we exhume my dad's body to get DNA? And she said that only in these police investigations and that sort of thing, there has to be a good reason to exhume a body. This is a great reason. I want my brother's DNA. And so
There would be a good reason if you chose to move him to a different cemetery.
oh, hey, yes. I love that. So anyway,
Yeah, he actually got a DNA test on the way between cemeteries.
there you go. So she just said it's very expensive to do, and they, we see it on the crime shows, but they said you know, they very rarely do it. It's expensive to do, and it's got to be a unique case. So
On the hair, is
Mhm.
you got to have the root to be able to do it, or are they coming up with something later on to, if you
I
just
think
cut
you
it?
do. I think you do have to have a root, but I'm telling you, I'd be willing to try it.
Well,
I
I've
have my
got
dad's
three.
hairbrush.
I got three samples of hair. One is my father and his two brothers,
Great.
and I don't know which one is which.
You know what? This might be a great question to pose. I have found that the Ancestry and Family Search Facebook page, they answer me right away. Usually within a couple of hours, I will get an answer from them. So it might be a great question to ask Family Search or Ancestry, or go on the Living DNA Facebook page, because I think I'm pretty sure they're the ones that are doing that.
Okay, living DNA. Okay.
Mhm. Yeah. Any other questions or thoughts about Gedmatch or DNA or?
It was excellent, Patty. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you,
I
Jean.
learned a
I
lot.
appreciate it. Good. It's so much fun. It really is.
I'm gonna have to start using Gedmatch more. And I just got a notification, so I've got a new match out there.
Woo! That is so cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey, Patty,
uh-huh.
are we going to have the troubleshooting Tuesday night? Or is
You know
that this
what?
Tuesday?
We have paused and postponed it. We decided that because people are meeting more in person, and we were finding that, and what Gene is talking about, by the way, the question that he asked, we had a help desk that was meeting on the 4th Tuesday of every month. And we just found that it was kind of dwindling off, and it was all board members or folks like you, Gene, that have, you know, been doing this for a long, long time. And we just felt like maybe the need for it wasn't there like it was before. I loved it, but yeah, we decided to just put a pause on it and postpone it for a little while, and just kind of see how, and maybe with this new COVID variant, we might start that up again. But I thought it was fun.
Well, it's always fun to just sit there and talk to people.
Absolutely. Well, we can always create something.
Well, I would just like to thank you all for coming, and to remind you that the Dallas Genealogical Society has 7 special interest groups, more than just the DNA special interest group, open to all, no charge. You don't even have to be a member of DGS. So you might want to share this information with others of your friends. The date and time of those other meetings are on the website. Coming up, we have a DNA seminar on April the 23rd. And I think they were going to open up registration here soon for that.
Mhm. Sure.
And then Kevin will be talking about Gone to Texas in July, and Paul Milner will be doing Jumping the Pond. So those events are coming up.
Very good. Yeah. And thank you for those announcements. That is great. I'm a special interest group leader too in Coppell. So if you live in North Dallas, we meet on the 3rd Tuesday of every month. And next month, I'm actually going to be presenting a DNA program at Wise County Genealogical Society. And then we're going to broadcast it to our Coppell group. And so it's kind of cool that we can go in person, and we can do the hybrid group. And And people can join from all over the Metroplex outside of Texas. So
Patty, I want to thank you. I haven't been using Gedmatch very much. And so you showed me some new tools that I think I would like to try out.
it's so much fun. It is. It's good. Well, good. I'm glad that it was helpful.
Yeah, I've been on Gedmatch for years and years, and of course, long before Tier 1 and stuff. But
Mhm.
anyway, I kind of got bored with it, and I stay so busy. I got working.
Oh, you've got a lot of irons in the fire.
I got too many irons. I get burned every time I reach in the fire, and and so. But anyway, it went very, very well tonight. I learned a lot, and you inspired me to go back and look at Gedmatch some more.
Good. That is great. And put your tree on there if it's not on there, because boy, I'll tell you, that has been so helpful. And I don't know how I heard it, but when I did, I was like, dang, I'm putting it on there for sure.
And I do have a brother and a sister. I don't have my parents' DNA, but I do have a brother and a sister, as well as myself, in family tree DNA. And so
Well, you could use that Lazarus tool.
yeah,
Use that Lazarus tool, and you'll be able to. It'll draw out DNA matches. It's a good tool. I did kind of poke around it, but I haven't followed through. So that's something I'm going to work on. Is that
I talking about having the three of us. I did it one time. I downloaded all the matches for my brother, my sister, and myself, and then I put it into Excel and separated it out as to who, which people were matching 1, 2, or 3 of us. And that was kind of interesting. Lots and lots of people.
It really is. And
Stephanie at work, Stephanie Bennett, matches my brother. She does not match me. She does not match my sister.
Wow. See what I'm saying? We just anybody who's related to you that's willing to test them. Yep. And I buy tests. And by the way, I have an inventory now. I've got about 9 DNA, Ancestry DNA kits. I bought them when they were on sale on Black Friday. So if you ever need one right away, let me know, because I've got them at home now. So just sitting in my closet waiting for a DNA tester. Oh yeah, I create family events, and I bring DNA kits with me so I can scope the crowd, see who has not tested yet.
Mick,
Yes.
what's going on at the library? What's the status up there now?
Well, we have a lot of books up there. Some microfilm.
Well, I figured there would be, but can we go use them?
Yes.
Yes.
We're open Tuesday through Tuesday through Saturday. Basically 10 o'clock to 6 o'clock. On Wednesday, we're open 11 to 7.
We don't need an appointment. We can just walk in.
It just depends. If you want to use books, we just let you in. If you want to use microfilm, or if you've got a situation, we're an affiliate library with Family Search. If you need to use a computer, particularly a computer that needs to go to Family Search that you can't maybe access from home, one of their databases that they've got blocked or something, you can use it there. But on those, we've got 4 stations. We ask that you do make an appointment for them. You can make an appointment. Like I say, we open at 10, so a lot of people do it at 10 or 11, and then there's a second appointment time about 1 o'clock. But if you're there in the morning, or in fact, you can ask for both morning and afternoon appointment on the same computer. So you can do that. And well, that's the major thing, I guess.
But basically, if you're going to use the new books that you got, just show up and
Yeah. Yeah, I say, yeah, pretty much. We don't turn anybody away for that.
Yeah, I need to come down, but I don't know when I'm gonna break loose to go down there though.
And you know, we also have that heritage lab, which is real good. You can make slides. You know, you can take your slides, make you put it onto a flash drive. You can make like Super 8 film and put it on a flash drive. You can do a number of things like that, different medias, and put them onto a flash drive. And you have to supply the flash drive, but we've got the equipment for the majority of the stuff. To do that, on our website, on the 8th floor website, on the Dallas Library website, there are some little tutorials that last 5 minutes or less. It's just a familiarization of the equipment, what it does, and then how to use it. And you're not expected to just know how to use it, but it familiarizes you so it's not cold when you get there. And then you get yourself a little certified thing that you did that tutorial, and we'll put you on it. And you know, you need an appointment for that. Specifically, you do need an appointment for that.
Yeah. Is the Family Search still working there?
Yes.
They still recording stuff, huh? That's good.
Yeah. You know, the deal, what I was mentioning with Family Search is in a lot of cases, they are working, you know, they're going from microfilm. They had permissions from different places for microfilm, copyright wise. And then now that they're digitized stuff, in some cases they're trying to iron out the legalities and make a new contract. So they're going from one media to another media, so they need a new contract. And in some cases, if you go onto their website tonight, you may or may not be able to get in to see some of those the old microfilms that are now digitized. And if that's the case, it may say on there, you have to go to an affiliate library or a family history center. And we're an affiliate library, so you can go there.
Oh, okay.
And our when you log in, you just log in like you would at home on our computer, and our computer, Family Search recognizes our computer. So it just lets you in. I mean, you still sign in, the screen looks identical to what it does at your house, on your own computer, and you just sign in with your Family Search account number, and you're in. And
so you don't have to go to the library then?
You do have to go to our library because you're going to use our computer.
Okay.
And we do have.
You can't use a portable computer and log into your.
No, and you cannot take your laptop. I mean, you can use your laptop on a Wi-Fi, but that's just like being at your house.
That's just like being at the house, so that don't put us there. It's got to be your computer.
Yeah, it recognizes our computer.
Yeah. Okay.
So is it equivalent to being in Salt Lake and going to their library?
So, almost. In other words, there's a good chance you don't need to go to Salt Lake.
Okay.
As long as you're looking at microfilm that they've recorded and got online, the only thing you can't see the books that they got there.
Yeah, you go in like right tonight. You go in on your computer, and you log into Family Search, and it says that something is digitized, but you have to be in Salt Lake, and that's the only place you can be. Or it may say you need to be in a family history center or an affiliate library.
Absolutely.
If it says that, that's where you need to be at our library.
Okay, good to know.
So if it's
We need
locking
an
you out,
appointment for that, Mick?
we ask that you do, but
Okay.
if there's a computer available and you walk in, we just prefer that you do make an appointment. Just call up and we'll set you up. That way we can assign you to a specific one instead of you getting there and maybe somebody's already got an appointment and you can't get on.
Mhm.
Okay.
You know, I could come up then. I could come up then and read the books, and then while I'm there, make an appointment that afternoon for the computer.
Yeah.
Okay, that'll work.
Yeah.
Okay.
That way I know I'm going to be there.
Yeah. 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 And I mean, we have people make an appointment and then they end up looking at books anyway, and they don't even get on a computer. You know, they get
Well,
sidetracked. So
I've got a bunch that's got the key and lock on the land records that I can't look at, and that's slowing down my research.
on the family search,
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
doing
look-
a lot of land records out there, and there's certain counties that have got all their land records has got a key and lock on the darn thing, and I can't.
well, look at it.
Look
Look, you look at it, see what it says. If it says,
it says affiliate library. I got to go to Salt Lake City for that.
okay, in some cases, yeah. But in other cases, it just says family search center, family history center, or affiliate library.
Yeah, well, that's what it's saying. So
Yeah.
I got to find some place that's authorized to look at it.
Well, Salt Lake.
Well, also probably your place too. That's why I'm gonna try that.
That's what I say. If it says affiliate, that's us. But if it just says Salt Lake, then that's where you have to go.
What about the New York City birth certificates? Do you have those available there? You know, they give
I
like
think
the
they're-
date of birth, but they don't give any more information.
I think they're online. I think that whatever that company is that's suing them has sued them a number of times due to the Freedom of Information Act. They have placed it online. You'll
Is
have
that
to see.
available in your library?
It's available at your house.
Really?
If it's the same ones, if you're talking about New York City now,
Yeah.
I don't
yeah,
know.
I am.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a company. What do they call? I forgot the name of the company, but there must be lawyers or whatever. Anyway, they go to different places like New York that have things down where the law says they're open records,
Mhm.
and they request the records and request that they be made public. And they fought with the city of New York and a couple boroughs for a number of years, and they refused to basically do it. They took them to court. The court says you got to do it, and eventually they did get it.
But the problem is they just give the date of birth, but not the parents' names a lot of
Well,
times.
I don't know. It may not be the certificate. It may be the index. I think it's the indexes may be free.
And
Open to the public.
I just posted something in the chat. It's called reclaimtherecords.org.
There you go.
And I think that was what Mick was talking about. They, when I went to the Boston University course, they had us use this particular site. It is excellent. So they are legally getting records that these counties or states are hanging on to, and they're releasing them. And you can ask questions through that website, reclaimtherecords.org, and communicate with the people there on that site and ask them
Excellent.
about the particular records you're looking for.
I hope they start suing New Jersey.
And then I also put another site that has nothing to do with DNA, but since I'm here with my 94-year-old grandmother, I've been able to ask her lots of questions. She was an attorney at Baylor. Well, she's still an attorney, but she worked for Baylor University for 45 years and just retired at age 92. So I was working with a client trying to find immigrant ship manifest records, and I was looking on Ancestry, Family Search, and looking on Steve Morris's website. And she said, well, have you tried the immigrant ships? And I said, I thought that's what I was looking for. Immigrant-ships.net. They have immigrant ship records and manifest from the from 1600s that came to America, and others. It's all around the world. The records are there. if they've been scanned, and they're searchable. So you can go into each one of the volumes that they have on this site. It's fantastic. It's a great, great site. And then you can search by name. You can search by your ancestor's name. You can search by the ship. It's really, really good. So definitely,
Okay.
Well, next month, February, we'll be meeting on the third Thursday. I think is that the 18th, maybe. And at that time, we're hoping that have a little discussion about Roots Tech and asking you all to sign up for commit to at least seeing one DNA workshop, since Roots Tech is free and it's on your computer and you can look at it anytime, and then report back to us in March. Of course, Roots Tech is the 3rd and through the 5th of March. So look back and report to us what you learned from that Roots Tech DNA session. So March program really is up to you all.
and if you do sign up for Roots Tech 2022, it will allow you to see last year's Root Tech. And so you can search by topic. So you can just click DNA in the topic area. Or if you have a favorite DNA speaker, you can put Diane Southard was one of the speakers. And so I watched all of hers. And so it directs you to last year's. When you sign up for this year's, it directs you to last year's. So you could even get a little head start and do some viewing.
You can also go
Early.
onto YouTube.
Yes.
All the family searches on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Or the Roots Tech stuff is.
Mm-hmm.
It has a channel.
Good deal.
Thank
Can I just swing back to the beginning of this SIG meeting and the very sad news about Debbie Parker Wayne?
Yeah.
I was unaware of it. I recently just bought the book that she's
Oh
edited
man.
and started going through it. I was totally unaware of it, so I was quite shocked and saddened to hear of her passing.
Yeah.
But the disease she had, which is Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease, is something I'm aware of, having come from England. It's often miscalled the human form of mad cow disease.
Oh wow. Oh.
And yeah, it's probably not quite right, but because I was living in England when they had mad cow disease and it was a huge problem during the 1980s, my wife came over, my family and I came over in 1988. And so as a result of that, as an abundance of caution, none of us can give blood, because there is a fear that because we were in England when this disease was in progress in cows, that it could be passed to humans, and we might carry the things called prions or prions. I don't know what they are, but they are the source of this disease, and it's felt that we could pass it on to other people, and therefore we can't give blood. And that was true up till about 3 or 4 years ago. I haven't tried to give blood recently, but I tried several times since coming to the States, and I can't give blood.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, it's very sad. It's a horrible disease.
Yeah.
Well, it's a great loss to
Yes.
not only the DNA community, but the whole genealogical community,
Right.
and Texas in particular, because she was a great person.
Such a great resource too.
Yeah.
Thank goodness she wrote the books that she did and wrote the contributions. And it really encouraged me to start writing. I love to write, but I've just been busy. So there's only so much time in the day. But it really helped encourage me, especially when that was the first thing out of my grandmother's mouth. She published. I was like, wow. That's important for us to write our stories down.
Yep.
Get them published. Mhm. Yep.
And y'all want off subject topic?
Mhm.
Does anybody use Dragon or the voice deal on Word? Are you familiar with it?
Jean,
I'm
are
not
you
familiar.
talking about the Dragon that you can
Well,
use
it's
voice
the one that you
activated?
talk to it and it writes what you say.
Yes, I've used Dragon. I used it at my office when I was in marketing back in 2018 is when I retired and went home and took care of my mom who had Alzheimer's. But it's great. It is really, really great.
How
So
hard is it to use?
easy. Very easy. Plug it in and it works.
How about, you have the same thing in Word, don't you?
I think so. I have not tried to use that.
I think in the new 360 or what, a 365 or whatever it is, I think it's in there, and I just wonder if
Yeah,
anybody's
I
used
think-
that.
Yeah, I think they do. I don't know if somebody down at the library might be able to help with that, Jean.
And I'll
You might
pose the
shoot an
question
email.
next time the DGS meets and see if anybody on there knows.
That's a
anything
great
about it.
idea.
Because that's the only way I'm going to learn anything. Just ask somebody a question, maybe they'll come up with it.
But
Yeah.
Jean, you might ask Susan Younger. She perhaps
She's
has used it in the past.
mhm.
You
She's
know,
been
well,
great
She's a
resource.
big Windows person.
Well,
too.
I'm trying to find a easier, I'll need to write some of this stuff down, but I don't have time to write, so maybe I can talk to it. And it'll take care of it for me.
Well, my experience, I can talk to my computer. I have a Macintosh. I don't need to have the separate Dragon, but it doesn't understand my accent all the time.
Well, that's my problem. I don't think it's going to understand Texan or Southwest Texas.
It will.
Yeah.
It gets
Will
used to your voice.
Will it spell it out in West Texas?
Yeah, you might have to do some editing on. But Jane, I have another suggestion. I get my telephone and I pull up I pull up my email account, and then I just push the record button and I record into an email, and then I go to my computer, I get my email, I copy and paste it into a Word document. So that's
That could be a workaround.
yes, that's what I was going to say. That's something you could do right away, and until you figure this other thing out, because I'll be driving and then I'll think, oh my gosh, I don't want to forget this.
You want to make yourself a memo.
Make myself a memo, and mail it to myself.
Now, myself and Steve Reed were discussing this the other night, so I decided I'd go ahead and ask it tonight.
Say, Gene,
When you get
Yeah.
when you get the
Patty,
library,
and-
Gene, when you get the library, Gene, go stop on the way to 8th, stop on 5, and
Oh.
that's the technology floor,
Oh, what
And,
a great idea.
and they've got a lot of books for almost everything that you're interested in there, computerized
To
and
tell
marketing.
you how to do all that stuff.
There's probably a book on it,
That is a great idea.
but you have to read it. Maybe you can get one that talks to you.
Well,
Gene-
it's an
Gene?
audio book.
say,
Yeah, Steve.
this is Steve. I did a little bit of probing on the internet after you and I talked about some of those ideas, and I was amazed how much technology there is out there.
Mhm.
And I talked also about going the other way, going from text back to verbiage. That technology exists too. And it would seem to me that for those of us that have a lot of information and we're interested in sorting it, organizing it, searching it, et cetera, there ought to be
Mhm.
time-saving tools in going from verbalization to text and the reverse, text back to verbal, in order to combine the information we've got.
Mhm. Great.
Just a thought, but we're all running out of time to do what we want to try to do. So
Yep.
time saver, it could be very useful for all of us.
Absolutely.
Something to dig into. Yeah, I've just I use OneNote a lot for writing up notes on my genealogy. I just took a look at it right now, and it has a dictate function as well. So you can basically, again, does the same thing. You can talk to it, it converts it to text and puts it into OneNote. But the interesting thing that I found there is that when you speak to it, and I'm assuming the same is for Microsoft Word, is that it uploads what you've just said to Microsoft, to what they call their speech services, and then sends it back to you and puts it in as text. So it depends how comfortable or otherwise you feel about what you are saying being transported to Microsoft.
But
Big Brother.
David, when you pronounce the word organized, does it put it with a Z or an S?
I've been here for a long time now. It's with a Z. Or should I say the English way? It's with a Z.
I'm going to shut up and go home. Talk to y'all next month.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you all. We are closing meeting.
It was a great night. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank
All
you.
right, I'll see you
Enjoyed it.
guys next month.
All right.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot.
This has been a production of the Dallas Genealogical Society. If you're already a member, thank you. Your fees have been supporting these and other society activities. If you're not yet a member, please consider joining now. Go to dallasgenealogy.org and click on the membership tab.